Hey folks, Travis Batterson here. So I wrote this book, Bitcoin, A Basic Explanation of Everything, when I was 21 in 2013. This YouTube channel is going to be dedicated to discussing Bitcoin, and I'm going to give out a free audio copy of my book for free. So please stay and please enjoy and please subscribe. We're going to start with chapter 1, and I'm going to read the whole thing for us. It's an audio book for free. Thank you. Part 1, History, Currency, and Currency Evolution. What is Bitcoin? Before we start analyzing Bitcoin and its growing prevalence as a currency, we look at two things. The first is the concept of currency. Also, it is necessary and interesting to complement the new economic evolutionary step with the context of history. Now we will touch on these subjects very briefly. What is currency? Money satisfies general human demands. It is used as exchange for goods and services. Money has specific uses that qualify it as money, and there are three that will be considered here. A medium of exchange is something used for buying and selling goods and services. Labor is something that is sold, and productive work is the foundation for a good economic system. When you work, you do something valuable. You can supply a service such as dentistry, clerical work at a retail outlet, or act as a mover. You can produce a good that can be put into a market and sold, such as this book. In any case, you work and are supplied something valuable for your time. If you work for a fast food outlet, say, you do not want to be given cooked food as compensation. You want something that can be used to satisfy desires for other goods and services at your discretion. Thus you are given currency, and this currency yields and represents the value of the labor you sold, and allows you to buy something else you find valuable. Therefore, currency acts as a medium of exchange. Money is used as a unit of account as well. A dollar, although just a piece of paper, gives individuals a relative measure of worth. If you go to a store with a dollar and look for things to buy, you can get an idea of the worth of everything in dollars. If you are offered $300 for a week's worth of work, and then judge your willingness to do that work based on the unit of account by gauging it from the reference point that money provides. One more thing to discuss here is how money acts as a store of value. If you are given a $100 bill, throw it in a safe and keep it there for a week, the money will still be worth $100. The value of that $100 bill retains its value for future spending, allowing individuals to save the value. The value of a dollar bill alters with each time through alterations in purchasing power and government action. Governments can easily increase the money supply. Expanding the money supply will reduce the value stored in all units, but will provide governments with money that is not based around original production and value offered. This notion is important later on to understand why e-currencies like Bitcoin grow in popularity. Remember, currency acts as a medium of exchange, unit of account, and store of value. Money satisfies the human demand for these qualities. Advancement of currency. Currency has advanced through many stages, and here we will recognize 4 of them. The first stage was that of commodity money. This type of currency had an intrinsic store of value based on demand for it. Gold and silver are rare precious metals that are good examples of commodity money. These metals are scarce and look interesting, and these reasons, among others, create a large demand but a small supply. Because there was consensus about the demand, it was easy to start trading the material for more goods and services. These qualities satisfied conditions for currency. The next stage was a further advancement in convenience, which was currency phase of representational money. In this system, commodities were stored in secure facilities, banks. The banks gave certificates to depositors of commodities, and soon enough the certificates were traded. No longer did you have to accept the physical gold coin for something you sold, or in exchange for your labor. You could accept a representation of the commodity. You could trade the bank back the certificate for the gold, or, as was just as good but more convenient, you could trade the certificate that was just as valuable as the commodity it represented. Now comes the stage of currency that marks the turn from free market-oriented approaches to government-managed currency. Since this stage is the current, it should be viewed as an experimental direction in the evolution of economics and money, not the conclusive next stage to be built upon. Fiat currency systems are the consequences of government monopolized banking systems of a particular country or group of countries, such as the EU. Since economies based on the representational money system were filled with many banks and many certificates, governments created central banks that standardized the certificates. These central banks became the bank of banks, and with government permission were able to remove the need for the currency to be backed by gold and silver, among other things. This effectively meant that dollars could not be redeemed for commodities. Today, this is the system we have. Fiat currency allows governments to print off money at will. There can be little stability because of mistakes by central banks that affect entire nations or continents. From this point, a new economic phenomenon is occurring. We now reach the next possible evolutionary stage of money in the subject of this book, digital currency. Digital currency is any form of money that is exchanged electronically. A very popular means for transferring money digitally is a debit or credit card. Scrip, S-C-R-I-P, is the term used to describe currency that is not considered legal tender. After the fall of the Soviet Union, many Russians used cigarettes as a currency. Cigarettes satisfied qualifications for currency but were not legal tender, so were considered scrip. These are centralized and decentralized currency systems. Centralized currency systems rely on some kind of central user, such as a bank that mints the currency. Centralized currency systems rely on some institution to print, monitor, and distribute the currency. This leads to a single institution holding responsibility for the medium of exchange used by hundreds of millions of people. A decentralized currency is money that is directly transferred, a decentralized currency, transferred from the sending party to the receiving party without any one bank-like entity needed to verify the transaction and control counterfeiting. This currency does not have a single creator and monitor, but many creators and monitors. This concept poses new problems. Without a centralized regulator, how is the currency going to get created? How is the currency going to get verified as authentic and not counterfeit? On that note, we move to the more recent history of decentralized electronic currency and Bitcoin. The first digital cash system setup was created by David Chaum with the founding of DigiCash in 1999. The innovation involved was the use of cryptographic protocols that allowed privacy with transactions. Chaum invented among many other things, important signature systems and anonymous transaction protocols that would be important for the foundations on which Bitcoin rests. DigiCash went bankrupt in 1998. The assets of DigiCash were sold to eCash in 1998. Also, Day with his digital cash system called B-Money and Nick Szabo with his concept of BitGold enhanced understanding of digital currency. These two systems also had large impacts on the emergence of Bitcoin. The idea of having users compete to solve proof-of-work problems was outlined by Szabo. In the next section, this will be described further with a description of mining. Remember, currency has evolved over time from commodity money to representational money to today's fiat currency. Digital currency is currency that is exchanged electronically, while scrip is something that acts as currency but is not considered legal tender. Centralized currency has a controller that handles counterfeiting and minting, while decentralized currency has no direct manager. David Chaum, Day, and Nick Szabo all influenced Bitcoin by pioneering technology and innovations that had direct contributions to the Bitcoin network. I hope you enjoyed part 1, and I hope you stick around for the next part and enjoy. Thank you.